to find a sponsoring real estate broker. Whether you're in pre-licensing right now or recently completed your course hours, you're going to need to find a sponsoring broker very soon. So in this video, we're going to dive into exactly how you go about finding a sponsoring broker, as well as 4 very important things to know as you're going about this process. My name is Tyler Roicki. I help people build income and wealth through real estate, and if there's anything I can possibly do to help you now or in the future, go ahead and reach out to me. You can find my email in the description below, along with some other helpful resources for you. And before you do anything else, you're going to want to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you can be the first to know about future videos where I share more tips and resources to help you level up your life through real estate. And with that in mind, let's dive into the video. And that brings us to the first thing you're going to want to know as you're going about finding a sponsoring broker, which is the difference between this and a job search. Especially if you're coming from a spot where you're used to working a job, maybe the corporate world, whatever the case might be. If at any point in time you went about applying for jobs and interviewing for that and ultimately getting accepted for that position, I want you to know that this is nothing at all like that. This isn't anything like a job search where you're looking for an open position, submitting a resume, interviewing for the position, and hopefully getting an offer to go and work at that particular firm. No, it's nothing like that at all. See, it's actually flipped, because when you interview brokerages, they're not the ones interviewing you. You're actually the one interviewing them. And that's because when you get that real estate license and are looking for a broker to get started with, you're not getting a job. What you're actually doing is you're launching your own real estate business, and the brokerage is simply the platform on which you will be operating your own business on. So understand this, most major real estate brokerages want you. In fact, they're typically set up in a manner to take on as many newly licensed real estate agents as possible. So that gives you the power and flexibility to interview different brokerages to find which one you feel is most in alignment with you and the goals you're working towards by getting started in this business. So knowing that, how do you go about finding a sponsoring real estate brokerage? Well, simple answer, you can find one anywhere, whether it's on a Google search, driving down your street, word of mouth, etc. It's very simple to find a real estate brokerage. There's brokerages in your local market, and you can reach out to anyone that you're interested in learning more about to see what the opportunity will look like there. Now, should you select a sponsoring brokerage based on how recognizable the name is in your local market, or based on where a friend or family member of yours in the business may be affiliated with themselves? Well, I tell you this, it's far too important of a decision to make based on either of those 2 factors alone. And that brings us to the second thing that is really important to know, which is how real estate brokerages work. And now that you know that you're launching your own business when you get your real estate license in hand, and that the real estate brokerage is the platform on which you'll be operating your real estate business on, allow me to clarify what it is that real estate brokerages actually do and why it is that we need one as a licensed real estate agent. The brokerage is there to provide us agents with the support and the resources that we need to effectively operate our real estate businesses. In addition to that, they also take on the liability of having real estate agents doing business under their broker's license. And in exchange for doing those things, they'll be earning a portion of the commissions as you're closing transactions. Now, with that in mind, it's important to understand that not all brokerages are the same. While they all do those things on some level, the value proposition can be drastically different from brokerage to brokerage, based on the key things that we need as real estate agents to effectively operate our real estate businesses. And that brings us to the third thing that you need to know, which are the key things to look for when choosing a real estate brokerage. And we'll boil this down to the 4 pillars of a real estate business, which are things that we as agents will be relying on our real estate brokerage for. And those things are: 1, training and masterminding; 2, support and mentorship; 3 leads, and 4 compensation. It's good to see what different brokerages have to offer in terms of those 4 things. And in fact, I made a video recently really breaking down each of those 4 things, as well as giving you some questions and things to consider as you're assessing your different options as far as real estate brokerage goes. So check that video out if you'd like to learn more about that. And that brings us to the 4th thing that you should know as you're going about finding a sponsoring brokerage, which is the difference between the traditional franchise brokerage model and the new model. Most real estate brokerages today are based on the traditional franchise brokerage model, which was established in 1906 when the company that you all know as Coldwell Banker was founded. And over the course of time, a lot of other companies came about based on that same business structure, where you have a big real estate company that sells off regions, which sell off franchises, and ultimately you have offices in different local market areas as a result. And in that structure, typically those offices are all independently owned and operated. And on top of that, you have local companies that exist, independent brokerages, which are structured in the same way, just without all of the corporate franchise structure in terms of regions and territories. You have a local real estate company. At the end of the day, you have agents driving the revenue of the company, and then you have a broker, perhaps an office manager in the mix. But with those larger companies, you have a lot of people in the mix between the agents who are driving the production and the people that are more on the operation side and ownership side that are actually building their lives off of what those real estate agents ultimately do. Now, the franchise model has a lot of overhead in it, and you have that structure in which money is going up in terms of the owners and the shareholders in that structure. And ultimately it's up to the agents to make that all work, because we're driving all the sales and everyone else is getting paid off of that production as well. And that traditional structure is very high in the overhead, so that needs to be covered in order for it to operate. And so traditionally the splits were very large. It started off where agents were on a 50-50 split, and over the years different companies came along and offered something different in the way of splits and caps and fees. So you had Century 21 come about at one point, you had a Remax at another point, you had Keller Williams after that, and all these companies had a different way of going about that standard fee structure. And there were some innovations that were done along the way, but at the end of the day, it's all still the traditional franchise model that we're talking about. So when we're looking at that traditional franchise model, when we're looking at the training and masterminding, it happens on a local level, on an office level. Same with the support and mentorship. Any of that that's available, it's what's there within that local office. Leads are limited because, quite frankly, brokerages are not in the business of generating leads, which I break that down on that other video I referenced. But if you are getting leads, you're going to be paying something very substantial in order for that to be an ongoing thing that you have. And then as far as compensation, your best opportunity in the traditional franchise model is your next commission check, which is great. But what happens when you want to go out and build your dream life and your future, and not just the future of your broker or the people that are involved in the ownership of that greater company? Now, in recent times, there has been a new model that has come along and really taken our industry by storm and completely transformed these 4 key things that we need as real estate agents. So it's completely changed what actually exists and is available to us today in the way of training and masterminding. No longer is it something that we only have based on that local level. It's available now at a broader and bigger scale. Same with the support and mentorship. No longer are we confined to what is there in our local office, local market area. We have access to more of it at a broader scale. As far as the leads go, we're able to have access to powerful lead generation tools to position us in a way that we can generate the most business for ourselves and not be reliant on a broker to give us our own business. We can go out and create it and really take our personal brand into our own hands and build what it is we envision. And fourth, a compensation structure in which our biggest opportunity isn't just our next commission check, but we have the ability to share in the revenue and ownership of the company we're building our real estate business on. That way, that asset you're building by effectively running your real estate business is one in which you and your family actually own, that helps to secure your future financially, not just that of some corporate owner who more likely than not you've never even met. And with all that being said, cannot emphasize enough, the playing field has completely changed in terms of what exists for us real estate agents today, especially if we're at a point in time where we're launching our careers in real estate. There's a lot in the way of options to choose from in our industry, but if we're talking about the traditional franchise brokerage model versus the new model, it's completely different in terms of what you'll find there. And ultimately, if you dive more into that, you'll find what you believe is best for yourself to effectively launch your career in real estate. And like I said at the beginning, the power is in your hands to explore the different options you have as far as selecting a sponsoring brokerage, so that you can ultimately find what you believe will be the right fit for yourself based on your goals moving forward in the business. If you'd be curious to learn more about what that new model looks like and how it compares and contrasts to the traditional franchise model, go ahead and reach out to me. You can find my email in the description below. I'd be happy to share more about that with you if you'd be curious to learn more. And at this point, if you have any questions for me, if there's anything I can do to help you now or in the future, go ahead and send me an email. You'll find that information in the description below, along with some other helpful resources for you. And if you got any value whatsoever out of the video, all I'd ask is that you like, comment, and subscribe so that I can continue to share more tips and resources with you in the time ahead. And with that in mind, thank you so much for watching the video. And until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.